Hi, I'm Dimitri Mugianis. Welcome to Psychedelic Questions. I've been a psychedelic ceremonialist and practitioner and harm reductionist for over 20 years. I'm here to answer your questions.
What are some of the differences to consider between doing an individual ceremony and a group ceremony?
Well, first I'll say that not all use of psychedelics is ceremonial. Some people call it a session or therapeutic. So that's one point. But the difference is that you're alone or you're with people. So I guess the advantages of each, why someone would do one or the other. Individual is, with a good sitter or a good ceremonialist or therapist is a highly attuned space. You have space in which to express yourself any way you like. You can, make any kind of noise, move around. Also, the kind of care is very specialized towards you, depending on what the context is. So that's the advantages. Some people feel kind of weird about getting all that attention, and there could be a therapeutic value in going into why you feel weird about getting all that attention. All right. But that's sort of the one drawback. It feels a little weird to get that much attention, and some people, maybe it may or may not have something to do with worthiness and that type of stuff. I don't know. That's one thing it could be. Groups, the advantage is that, number one, I think number one, it's cheaper. You could have, 5 or 10 or 20 people and maybe 3 or 4 sitters or ceremonialists or therapists sitting with you. And the price goes way down because you don't have to, sort of pay for folks' one-on-one labor. So that's a big plus. And maybe like a big plus in the future as the stuff moves to legalization. Also, processing in group can be a really good thing. The stuff that comes up in group can be worked through. So chicken or egg, who knows? And was the economic reasoning behind group therapy more, that it was more profitable for the therapist and be cheaper for the folks? Is that the impetus? It could be part of it, maybe a big part of it. But again, just like the individual, like coming up with maybe feelings of unworthiness because everyone's looking. Other stuff can come up in group, including other people making noise, a simple gesture from somebody else becoming annoying, and maybe there's something there. Also, if someone's having a stressful time, the inability, because it's not your job to sort of reach out. Most good facilitators will tell you it's not your job. We'll handle it if someone's having a rough time. What that can bring up for someone who's sort of witnessing that can be really difficult. And then the movement of folks in and out of the space can be difficult and challenging. That could be outweighed by the communal feeling of having gone through something difficult and hopefully beautiful, and sort of gone through it together. So there's a lot to be gained for that. I think sort of ask yourself, are you a group person or not? Some people aren't.
I guess I'm interested in talking a little bit about my own experience again.
Sure.
I guess I'm just thinking about you have sat for me on an individual basis many, many times. And the first time that we did that sense of individual attention was very sort of uncomfortable and alien. But it was profound in the sense of like, there are just people paying attention to me. It's so nice, and taking care of me, and I feel so safe. And I've really sort of adjusted to that over the course of doing all of these individual ceremonies for years, where I'm just like, I sort of deserve that extreme level of care and hospitality. I am worthy of that. So that was like a cool effect of having that experience over that long period of time.
I mean, for me, personally, like, how do I like to do it? I don't want to be with a bunch of other people. I just don't like it as much because I have to censor myself. I can't sort of sing along, and then I start to get super self-conscious about that. Like, at this point, how much more do I want to work about how super self-conscious I get about something, you know? But I'm not saying for someone else it could be great, right? I don't want to have to worry about flatulence or any of that stuff. And expressing one's need within that group is difficult. And, you know, I'm very physical when I go into those spaces. So, yeah, I prefer not to. And I prefer to work individually than in groups. I just do.
Mm. Yeah, there is an element of it's sometimes much harder to ask for help when you're in a group because you're surrounded by a bunch of other people who also need help potentially, and learning sort of how to like negotiate that space between genuinely being overly indulgent and just not asking for what you need. But maybe not everybody needs to be learning that lesson all the time. You know, it's like sometimes it's good enough just to be taken care of.
I think it's really close to group therapy.
Yeah.
You know, and there's, and I've been on individual and in group therapy. And the last group therapy thing, I just fucking left. I mean, but I'm an older guy, and like I kind of like maybe I'm sounding stuck in my ways, but I was just like, I don't want to be with these people. Yeah. At the same time, like group in terms of like 12 steps or something like that, which is so structured, I enjoy that, but it's really structured. The boundaries are so there, and I think that's really important when one is in a group, just like in an individual. Like, see what the parameters and sort of rules are, and the boundaries are within that group, and if that vibes with you, you know, it's really important to hold those parameters and boundaries, and the people holding the group need to do that as well.
Yeah. I'm sorry if we're just going on and on this question, but
No,
there's the thing that they always bring up in Jamaica, which is the 4 agreements. I guess, is that your thing? Is that a terminology that you're familiar with?
4 Agreements is an actual book, but but there's 4 things you're agreeing to.
Right. It's like anyway. It's basically like you'll stay here in the space.
Yeah.
You'll go somewhere else with us if we tell you to because you're being disruptive, or if we kind of help you to do that.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the other 2 are, but it's really helpful to just kind of like they put forward these are the rules.
Yeah.
You know, at the beginning.
Yeah, the container's got to be well held, you know, and well defined before you enter it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hey, thanks for watching. Please like, and we're going to be posting this every day. So if you want to stay informed, please subscribe. Also, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Thanks a lot.